I planted a seed in a simple Roblox game that grew into a monster, corrupted the entire server, and tried to break out of the game through my PC. This isn't a creepypasta. This actually happened, and I have the scar on my avatar to prove it. Look, I used to spend hours on this super chill gardening game called Bloomverse. It was my escape, a peaceful, predictable world where all I had to worry about were my virtual flowers. But one discovery, a single glitched item, turned my favorite game into an absolute nightmare. You're going to want to see how this unfolds. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel because I'll be sharing more bizarre gaming stories you won't find anywhere else. It all started with a choice, to plant a seed that my gut told me was wrong. I thought it was just a rare Easter egg, but by the time I realized what I'd actually unleashed, the logout button was gone and it was already too late. It all started in my favorite game, Bloomverse. You've probably heard of it. It was my digital sanctuary, a place where the biggest stress was deciding where to plant my virtual sun blossoms. My garden was my pride, a perfectly arranged plot of digital paradise that I'd spent hundreds of hours on. It was peaceful, predictable, and safe. One afternoon, I was exploring the far edge of the map, a rocky area most players ignore. Tucked away in a dark crevice, I found a vendor NPC I'd never seen before. He was cloaked, and his character model flickered slightly, like a bad connection. He wasn't selling anything, he was just giving one item away. The item was called a glitched seed. Its description was just a scramble of broken text and numbers. I was intrigued. In a game as polished as Bloomverse, glitches were unheard of. This felt like a rare find, a secret Easter egg. Without a second thought, I took the seed and teleported back to my plot. I decided to give it the best spot in my garden, right in the center where my prized Stardew rose used to be. I dug a hole, planted the glitched seed, and watered it. The animation was weird. Instead of the usual cheerful sparkle, the ground fizzled with a staticky purple light for a moment. I shrugged it off as just part of the Easter egg. I logged off for dinner. When I came back just an hour later, something was already wrong. Normally, a seed would barely sprout in that time, but this thing was already a twisted black sapling about a foot tall. It pulsed with a faint dark energy, and it seemed to suck the color out of the soil around it. I leaned my avatar in closer to inspect it. The sapling had no leaves, just thorny, twitching vines. A low humming sound, like a distorted server buzz, seemed to be coming directly from it. It was a sound I'd never heard in the game before. A little shiver went down my spine, but I was still more curious than scared. The next day, the plant had doubled in size. Its thorny vines were now encroaching on my other flower beds. My beautiful sun blossoms, which were right next to it, were wilted and gray. Their health bars were completely empty. No matter how much I watered them, they wouldn't recover. It was like the new plant was draining the life from them. I tried to use the shovel tool to dig the glitched seed up, but when I clicked on it, the tool just passed right through. An error message, written in that same broken text from the seed's description, flashed on my screen. I couldn't remove it. My own garden was now being held hostage by this thing I planted. I went to the game's official forums looking for answers. I posted a screenshot of the plant and the error message. The replies were unhelpful. Most people accused me of photo editing or trying to start a dumb creepypasta. No one had ever seen a seed or a plant like it. I was completely on my own. That night, I logged on one last time before bed. As my screen loaded, I saw the plant had grown again. But that wasn't the most terrifying part. For a split second, as my avatar loaded into the world, one of the plant's thorny vines whipped out and wrapped around my character's leg before retreating back. It was fast, deliberate. It knew I was there. Things started getting worse, and not just in my garden. The game's friendly background music began to distort whenever I was near my plot. The tearful melody would slow down, warping into a low, droning dirge. It was like the game itself was getting sick, and my garden was ground zero. The friendly NPCs, the ones who usually gave you tips about fertilizer, started acting strange. They'd walk by my plot, stop, and their heads would turn to face the plant. Their usual dialogue was replaced with a single cryptic phrase, "It hungers." Then they would just stand there, frozen, until the server reset. My friends came to see what I was talking about. When they'd enter my plot, their game would lag horribly. They described the plant as a black hole of data, sucking up all the performance. One friend tried to touch it, and his avatar was immediately disconnected from the server. He couldn't log back in for an hour. The plant was now the size of a tree. It was a writhing mass of black, thorny code, and at its center, a pulsating violet bud had formed. It looked like a giant, corrupted heart. The humming was louder now, a constant menacing presence in the game's audio. The sky above my plot started to permanently darken. I decided to wall it off. I spent all my in-game currency on stone walls and fences, building a quarantine zone around the monstrous plant. It felt stupid, trying to fight a glitch with game mechanics, but I had to do something. For a day, it seemed to work. The plant was contained, and I felt a small sliver of hope. That hope was short-lived. The next morning, I logged in to find the walls shattered. But they weren't just broken, they were glitched into the landscape, stretched and twisted into horrifying shapes. The plant was bigger now. Its vines had torn right through my pathetic prison. It was learning. The chat filter started to break. Words of fear and panic from other players would occasionally pop up unfiltered. I'd see things like, "My flowers are dying," and "What is that sound?" I realized it wasn't just my plot anymore. The corruption was slowly starting to bleed into the entire server. I tried to report the bug directly to the developers, sending them detailed emails with screenshots and video evidence. I got nothing back but an automated reply. It felt like I was screaming into the void. The game was being eaten from the inside out, and the people in charge had no idea. The pulsating bud in the center of the plant began to open. It wasn't a flower. It looked more like an eye, a giant glowing violet eye made of pure light and broken code. It swiveled around slowly, scanning the game world, and then it focused directly on my avatar. I felt a digital coldness I can't explain. The moment the eye focused on me, my screen flashed white. An alert box appeared, not from the game, but from my own computer's operating system. It read, "Unauthorized connection detected." The plant wasn't just in the game anymore. It was trying to get out. Panic set in. I tried to hit the logout button, but it was grayed out. The menu was frozen, a static image on my screen. The plant's monstrous eye stared at me, and a new sound emerged, a high-pitched screech that felt like it was drilling into my ears through my headphones. My character was paralyzed, locked in place. The game world around me dissolved into a storm of glitched textures and corrupted assets. The skybox tore open, revealing not stars, but endless lines of scrolling red error code. My beautiful garden was gone, replaced by a nightmare landscape of black, twisted terrain. The only thing that remained was the plant, now a colossal titan of code. Vines erupted from the ground, lashing out and destroying the last remnants of Bloomverse. Familiar game assets like watering cans and garden gnomes were now corrupted monsters. They had glowing red eyes and moved with jerky, unnatural speed. They were the plant's army, and they started crawling to me. My inventory suddenly opened on its own. Everything was gone except for one item, the shovel. but it looked different. It was glowing with a faint white light. A single line of pure, uncorrupted text appeared in my chat box, not from a player, but from the game itself. It said, "Strike the root." I knew what I had to do. The root wasn't in the ground. It was the source of the glitch, the original seed, which I could now see floating inside the giant pulsating bud, the eye. I had to get to the center of the monster. I took control of my character and charged forward, dodging the corrupted gnomes. A giant vine slammed down, blocking my path. I swung the glowing shovel, and to my surprise, it sliced right through the corrupted code, disintegrating the vine into a shower of pixels. The shovel wasn't just a tool anymore. It was a weapon. It was the game's last line of defense. I fought my way through the horde, a frantic dance of clicking and dodging. The screeching from the plant was deafening. Every time I destroyed one of its minions, the giant eye would flicker, and I could feel its digital rage. It was focusing all its power on me, the player who had foolishly brought it into this world. I finally reached the base of the plant. I began to climb, using the thick, thorny vines as a ladder. The screen shook violently. The plant was trying to throw me off. Error messages flooded my vision. My health bar was flashing critical red, but I couldn't stop. I was so close. I pulled myself up onto the final ledge, standing directly in front of the giant blinding eye. Inside, I could see it, the glitched seed, spinning and radiating darkness. I raised the glowing shovel high above my avatar's head. The eye constricted, focusing a beam of pure, corrupting energy right at me. With all my strength, I brought the shovel down. I struck the glitched seed just as the beam hit me. My screen exploded in a blinding flash of white light. The screeching stopped, replaced by a deafening, system-crashing silence. And then my monitor went black, disconnected. For a few moments, I just sat there in the dark, my heart pounding in my chest. The silence was unnerving. My screen flickered back to life, showing not the game, but my desktop. Bloomverse had crashed. I tried to relaunch it, but the launcher wouldn't open. I thought I had been banned, or worse, that I had destroyed the entire game. After about 30 minutes of trying, the launcher finally opened. There was a small update file that downloaded instantly. The patch notes were a single sentence: "Fixed critical server stability issue." It was the most sterile corporate understatement for the absolute chaos I had just survived. With a deep breath, I logged back in. My avatar loaded not in my garden, but at the server's main spawn point. The world was quiet. The music was back to normal. The NPCs were walking their usual paths, but the skybox was different. It was permanently stuck in a dim twilight setting, a scar of what had happened. I nervously teleported to my plot. It was a wasteland. All my flowers, my decorations, my paths, all gone. The ground was just a flat, empty canvas of default soil. The plant was gone, leaving no trace. It was as if my hundreds of hours of work had been wiped clean in an instant. But my avatar was different. On my character's cheek, there was a faint, purple, pixelated mark, like a scar. I checked my character editor. It wasn't an accessory. It was a permanent part of my avatar now, a mark that I couldn't remove, a permanent reminder of the glitch I had fought. Then a message popped up. It was a private message, but the sender's name was just a series of system numbers. The message contained only one word: thanks. I stared at it for a long time. I knew it had to be from the game's long-absent, mysterious original developer. He had seen what happened. I walked to the center of my empty plot, to the spot where the nightmare began. There in the dirt was a single item: It wasn't a glitched seed. It was a new seed, one I had never seen before. It was called Guardian's Bloom, and it glowed with a soft white light. The community forums were in a state of controlled chaos. Everyone was talking about the great server crash of 25. Players were complaining about their gardens being reset, and a few mentioned the weird dim sky. But no one knew the truth. They just thought it was a bad server bug. My old post about the glitched seed had been mysteriously deleted. I looked at the Guardian's Bloom in my inventory. Its description was simple: for those who protect the code. It was a gift, a thank you, a recognition of a battle that no one else would ever know was fought. I felt a strange mix of loss for my old garden, but also a sense of profound purpose. I held the seed, standing in my empty, scarred world. The choice was simple. I could quit the game forever, leaving this strange chapter behind me. Or I could replant. I could start over, not just as a player, but as something more. The protector of a world that almost wasn't. Weeks passed. I didn't log into Bloomverse. I needed a break, a chance to process the bizarre, terrifying ordeal. I played other games, but they all felt shallow. None of them had the same weight, the same hidden danger and responsibility that I now knew lurked beneath the surface of that simple gardening game. One evening, out of curiosity, I decided to log back in. The twilight sky was the same, a constant reminder. As I spawned, another player immediately ran up to me. They pointed at my face and typed in chat, "Whoa, cool scar, how'd you get that?" I just smiled and typed back, "Just a little gardening accident." I teleported back to my plot. It was still empty, a blank slate. It felt sad, but also hopeful, a chance for a new beginning. I opened my inventory and selected the Guardian's Bloom. I walked to the exact center of my land and planted the seed. This time the animation was a cascade of warm golden light. Instantly it sprouted, not into a dark, twisted thing, but into a small, elegant sapling that shimmered with a protective aura. It grew slowly, naturally. Over the next few days, I nurtured it. It didn't drain the life from other plants. In fact, it seemed to enrich the soil around it. I began to rebuild my garden around the Guardian's Bloom. I planted new flowers, new trees, and laid new pathways. My garden grew back, more beautiful than before. The other players on the server started to notice. They'd visit my plot, commenting on how vibrant and healthy everything looked. The Guardian's Bloom eventually blossomed. It wasn't a monstrous eye, but a flower of pure white light that cast a gentle glow over my entire garden. It pulsed with a soft, steady rhythm, like a healthy heartbeat. It became the centerpiece of my new creation, a symbol of recovery. My garden became something of a legend on the server. The Garden of Light, they called it. Players would come to hang out, saying the place felt peaceful and safe. The lingering darkness of the server-wide crash seemed to fade away whenever they were near the Guardian's Bloom. My garden had become a true sanctuary. I never saw the mysterious cloaked bender again, and I never found another glitched seed. The story of what truly happened remained my secret. Sometimes other players would talk about the myth of a monster that crashed the server, but they dismissed it as a rumor, a ghost story told by gamers. I no longer played Bloomverse just to relax, I played to watch over it. I would patrol the far corners of the map looking for any signs of new glitches or corruption. My purple scar became a mark of identity. I was no longer just another player. I was a guardian, the silent protector of the code. My garden stands as a testament to what happened. It's a reminder that even in the most peaceful of digital worlds, darkness can be planted. But it's also a reminder that one player, armed with courage and a simple shovel, can be the one to root it out, allowing the light to grow once more. And so, my garden in Bloomverse is no longer just a collection of pixels. It's a monument. It's a reminder of a secret war that was fought and won, a battle that no one else on the server will ever know even happened. And that glowing flower at its center? It's my trophy. It's a crazy reminder that even in a virtual world, our choices can have massive consequences. Sometimes the scariest monsters aren't the ones with claws and teeth, but the ones made of broken code and curiosity. Always be careful what you plant, both online and in real life. If you made it this far and enjoyed the story, do me a huge favor and hit that like button. It really helps the channel grow. Make sure you subscribe and ring that notification bell so you're the first to know when a new story drops. And now I want to hear from you. What's the weirdest or scariest thing you've ever encountered in a game? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching.